All right. Welcome to The Way She Carries podcast. My name is Vimbai. I'm your host, and I have with me a woman who I met on the YouTube, which is, kind of how we're meeting people. We're meeting people online. So I'm so delighted to be able to have Rose Tsalwa here with me. Rose, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Vimbai.
Yes, you got that right.
I hope I got it right.
You got it right. And for those who are watching, we did not practice that. She didn't practice my name. So she got it on the first try. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. So Rose, you are a busy, busy woman these days because you have a newborn. How's your baby?
She's okay. She's 11 weeks now.
Ah,
Uh I'm adjusting. I'm used to raising boys. I have three boys and she's the only daughter. So I'm adjusting to raising a daughter amidst other three boys. Three
what ages
sons.
are the
Yeah.
boys?
I have a 13 who is turning 14 actually this month. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old,
Ah, well, I guess
and
the
then
13-year-old can kind of help.
yes, he's the one with the baby now.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, thank you so much, our young man over there, for watching over your sister to let mommy have some time here to speak with me and have some one-on-one woman talk. So, Rose, tell me about yourself. I met you on YouTube, and at the time, I reached out to you because we were doing a series on. This was back in February. We were doing a series of finding love again, finding love a second time after heartbreak, after disappointment, or whatever circumstance. So. I found you online and you were talking openly about, your experience as a single mom and then finding love again. And so that intrigued me. And so I was delighted when you emailed me back to say, oh, hey, yeah, I definitely want to be a part of this. So before we get to that, can you tell me about, who you are? Can you describe yourself?
Uh, hmm. That's quite a difficult question.
Yes, I think everyone I ask that question always says that's the hardest question because, I don't even know how to describe myself very well. So that is a tough question.
Yeah, so Rose Salwa is a girl who or let me say, Rose Salwa is a woman who has been broken in all parts, in all aspects of life, but has been made whole again. And now she's a very, very strong woman, loved by Jesus
Yes.
and living her purpose.
Amen to
That's how I
that.
would
That's
describe.
beautiful.
That's how I would describe
Yes.
myself. Yes.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
but for the grace of God, right? God is
Yes.
is he is able to take our situations, however messy they are, and he's able to
Yes.
put us back together and create a beautiful masterpiece out of pain.
Yes. So yes, that's how I would describe myself. But also beyond that, I am a mother, I am a wife. Um, Let me begin. I am a child of God, born again Christian. I am a wife. I am a mother of three children, of course, as I have said. And then I am a pastor. I am a pastor by
Ah,
calling, training, and practice. And I am a content creator. Yes, I am a content creator. Yeah. So that's what I do. That's me basically.
yeah, so you're a very busy woman then. You have multiple roles that you play.
Yes, yes, yes. By the grace of God, I try.
So
And I
time
think I think that
management.
is the role. I think that's women. I think women have do more than five things at once.
Yes, we have to
Yeah.
multitask.
Yes, we multitask. Yeah. And God wired us that way. That's what I think. I don't know. I can't say I have anything special. or anything that is outstanding. I think it's just us women. We would be cooking and looking after the baby at the same time watching at this interview or doing something else. Yeah.
Yes, yes, for sure. So, time management must be very important to you then, because you have a lot of different roles that you're playing. So, how are you able to something that you're constantly trying to do, trying to figure out how to manage your time, or do you think you've kind of mastered that?
Um, it's quite hectic. Let me say that it's quite tiring, but I enjoy it. I don't have a systematic way of doing it. I just let life happen. But my day begins at 5. My day begins at 6 a.m. East African time, and ends at 11 p.m.
Hmm.
So I sleep between 5 and 6 hours. The other day I'm
Okay.
awake because I have to take care of the children. I have content to create. I have pastoral work to do, planning and so on. I have videos to edit.
Yes, and that takes
Yes.
time.
Yes. So what I do is I just wake up and just continue with the routine. So one of the things that I just let it to flow and happen naturally is the content creating part. So I don't have a program where I sit and write down like this is what I want to do, because I will forget. I'm quite outgoing. So if I don't do it now, I would never do it. So that's why I was, when you're trying to ask me when we can meet, I was telling you, plan and get me, I will come. I am
Yes,
not,
you said exactly. That's what you said. You said plan. You tell me when you want me
I
to
will
be there,
come.
and I will.
I will come. Yes. I am not quite a planner per se. So some things like content creation, I do when I get an idea or the Holy Spirit puts something in my heart. I act on it immediately. I do it immediately. And then after that, then when I get some free time, probably when the kids are asleep, like now, I've been on maternity leave. So when the baby is asleep, I get that time now to edit the video and do other house chores that I need to do. So that's what I do. But if I think what disorients me is maybe probably if I wake up late. If I wake up
Ah,
late, then I will have many things undone. I will have a very lazy day. But of course, as a mother, there are times when I wake up and I want to be lazy.
yes, and you're entitled to those days.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your upbringing, because you mentioned that you're a woman who has been broken down and God built you back up. So take us back to your childhood. What was your upbringing like?
Wow. I grew up, let me say, I grew up like, I don't want to say I grew up like any other child. I was tempted to say I grew up like any other child, but I'm a firstborn in a family of 10, 12. Let's say father, mother, and then 10 children. And I am the
Wow.
firstborn. So I got to grow up quite early, um, because I think by 5 years I was already taking up responsibilities of taking care of my siblings. But growing up, I grew up in I was born in the eastern. I am a Kenyan, so I grew up in the eastern part of Kenya. I was born in the eastern part of Kenya, but then I have been raised in the in the capital city of Kenya, that is Nairobi. Nairobi, Kenya, in the biggest slum in Kenya called Kibera.
Kibera.
Um,
I
Kibera,
know
that was the,
Kibera.
you know Kibera, yes. So
Yes, yes.
I grew up in Kibera, but of course there's Kibera for the rich and Kibera for the poor. So I grew up in the Kibera for the poor. That's where I grew up. I grew up in a Muslim home. My mom was a Christian, and then she got married to a Muslim, and then she converted to Islam. So that is the kind of setup I grew up in. Going to school was not a basic need in that time. So I cannot remember myself consistently in primary school, like class 1 all the way to class 8. I can only remember myself in class 6, 7, and 8. But before then, I was in and out of school. So I would go to school because of age. Anytime the missionaries or well wishers start a new school in Kibera, the slum, they would go recruiting children, and I would be part of the team that is being recruited, then would join that school at that particular time. And then probably when they start now paying, when a school is new, uh, people want students, so they might not be charging. So I would just join the school, but when they start charging, I would get out of school. So I grew up in absolute poverty. Yeah. My dad was in and off in my life, but the person that was constantly in my life was my mom, who is my role model in terms of strength. My mom is a very, very strong woman, because throughout um our lives as 10 of us, she stood and raised us. I watched her go through different episodes of life as a woman. Um, but yeah, that is the kind of environment I grew up in until when I finished high school. So I got a baby. Fast forward, I got a baby. After getting a baby, now I had to, you see, my mom has other children. So she cannot be taking care of me and my siblings and also my baby. So
Yeah.
I had to step out and now begin to look for something to do. So I went to work as a house girl.
Sorry, how old were
Uh,
you at this time?
I got a baby at 19. I got
Okay.
pregnant when I was in Form 4, yes. So I got my
Okay.
baby, my son, at 19 years. And then at 20, I began to work a house girl. Now, between 19 and 20, there's a period of like 9 months there, 9-11 or something there, where my life was just into was a mess, because I was struggling with pregnancy. I am pregnant, this pregnant teenager, stigma. Uh, there's all this poverty that I see around me. There's all this backwardness and lack of opportunities, illiteracy that I see around me. I have had a dream of being the light in my family, and now being pregnant, I felt like that has been cut short, and i
Mm.
am I am not able to achieve or do anything. So that's what I felt. So what did I do? I got into drugs. So I took drugs quite um, during pregnancy and post pregnancy. um, so my life was just a mess. And then in 2008, after in 2008, I met a televangelist, a pastor preaching on a television, and I was half drunk. Um, and I agreed to accept this Jesus that they are talking about, owing to the fact that I grew up in a Muslim home, and I felt like my family had failed me. I felt unprotected. I felt like I needed something new. So for me, I chose the path of Christ. And now that's when my life turned around. After that, I had to leave home, because now you see, now these are two different conflicting faiths. So I had to move away from home, and then I began working as a house girl. So I worked as a house girl for a period of like 2 years, and then I went to Bible school. Basically, going to Bible school was going to ask God questions. And the question was, if you are a good God, a loving God, why do you allow some bad things to happen to good people? Because, in my opinion, I was a good girl. I was a good person, just trying to live life like any other person. Why did he allow some things to happen to me? Like, for example, why did he allow me to go through sexual abuse? And
Mm.
then out of that sexual abuse, now Why did you allow me to conceive? I was not in need of a child. Why did you allow that? So that's the reason I went to Bible school, and by the grace of God, I got somebody paid my school fees to the university. So
Okay,
that is
so
me.
yeah, so the child that you had was a result of your being sexually violated.
Yes.
Whew, that's tough. That's
Yeah,
tough.
I remember that the perpetrator, let me call them that way. They told me, Rosie, I want to make a covenant with you that no one can erase. And there, boom, he hit me. I'm not sure whether you can see it. I have a mark on my face. He hit me a
Okay, come a
blow
little
here.
closer again.
How do I come? This way.
There, yeah. Okay, yeah, by the bridge of your nose there.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
So he hit me and followed me there. And he did his thing. He made a covenant with me that he claimed that no one else can erase. So that was it. But unfortunately, it is in the environment that I grew up in. It wasn't it is normal. It's not big deal uh for you to for such a thing to happen. It was considered,
Hmm.
I don't know whether it was considered normal or something, because nothing happened. If anything, I was blamed for it. Or
Blamed
you
by who? By society or the
uh
community?
from home.
Hmm.
From my home, society, community. The community doesn't know, of course, but my very close people, the people that I expected would defend me or even go to police station or do such something about it. It was, you have kept this guy so close to you for a long time, and he's justified to do it. You see, you have not been covering your head. That all the
Hmm.
reasons that the woman is always on the wrong. That's what I think. And for me, and the perpetrator came from a well-up family, a family that, let me say, they have the money. And so, of course, poverty has no dignity. So I had to go through that season all by myself. So the last time I ever met that person was when the baby was born, and the baby was around 2 months. And he told me, my mission in your life was to destroy you, and I have accomplished.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. But you are a testimony to prove that he did not destroy you.
No, he made me stronger. In fact, it is good he did it. It is good that thing happened to me, because otherwise I think I would not be a believer. I would not be loving Jesus the way I do today. I think
Hmm.
that trouble, that was the beginning of my life troubles. And my life troubles pushed me to God, pushed me to seek God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't
They,
it
they,
amazing how that happens?
yes. So this I got to understand when I was like questioning God a lot. Why did you allow this? Why did you allow this? And I got to learn, when in Bible school, there's a course or a unit called the Doctrine of God. Now, within the Doctrine of God, there is a sovereignty of God. You've heard people say God is sovereign; He does whatever He wants to do with whoever. So that was my answer. That was the answer I was looking for. That God is sovereign. He does whatever He wants to do with whoever, and He's not answerable to anyone. So that when I got that, then I was like, well, so the sovereignty of God dictates that He does whatever He wants to do with whoever. That was the statement I got from that class. But then it came with a lot of peace, and it looks unreal for you to go through sexual abuse
Yeah.
and still say it was meant for my good. Because today probably I would be married a third wife. In my former faith community, people get married third wives. I would be probably married a third wife. I would not have my faith in God or something like that. So I decided, and God helped me to look at the positive side of that, so that I don't die in it, and also I don't also begin now to mistreat my own baby.
Yes, because that is a huge possibility, because when you look at how the baby was conceived, and you've already gone through so much, and you're only 19, 20 years old, and you're pregnant, you've been violated, you're pregnant, and now you've left the home, and so you're on your own. And so, even that decision for you to say, okay, let me go to Bible school, I have questions. I need to find out more about God, because I need to know why He's allowed this to happen to me. And it's so, and this is what I want the viewers to take away, is that whenever things happen to us, we have a choice. We can either blame God, or we can run to Him and seek comfort from Him, because God, in His sovereignty, allows certain things to happen to us. But those things are not meant to break us, they're meant to build us and ultimately draw us closer to Him. And so that's what
Definitely,
happened to you. So, how
definitely.
did you get help with the baby? Because now you're in Bible school. How are you managing to provide for you and your baby?
There's something we've skipped there. You see, I got pregnant when I was in high school. I didn't just leave home. I left home after the baby was born. And I left the baby at home with my parents. So
Okay.
I didn't move out. I didn't move away with them. I left the baby at home with my parents.
Okay.
And I went to work as a house girl. So while I was working as a house manager, I would send money to my mother to take care of the baby, to pay the baby school fees. At this point, when I'm deciding to go to Bible school, the baby is 4 years. It's 4 years of
Okay.
age. Yeah, it's quite the baby has
There was
grown.
some
I did
time.
I left home when the baby was 2 years, though thereabout.
Okay.
Yeah, after now deciding I want to follow Christ. I want to follow this God that is called, that people, Christians, keep on saying that God is love. I've always known that God is merciful. Allah is merciful. So you are telling me God is love. I want to experience this God that you are saying, that God is love. This is what I
Yeah.
want. This is the person I want, because I want to understand what kind of love is this that allows these things to happen. But I didn't know how I would do it. But luckily, as I was working from one house to another, I met I landed myself a job at a pastor's house,
Mm.
and they took me in as their daughter, and I lived in with that family for quite a while. So he's the one who told me about the Bible school that I went to, Africa International University, um, next, formerly next. So I decided to go. And remember, I got pregnant while in high school, Form 4. So that affected my school performance. So I got D
Yes.
plus.
Mm.
A D plus is next to failure. So when you get that in Kenya, you are referred to as a failure. People know that you are a failure. There's nothing good that can come out of you. So you hear you've gotten a baby, you are a teenager, you have a baby out of sexual assault, and then you get a D plus. So, and women, when you are a woman, I think you are the one who gets pregnant. So the stigma is on you. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody, when you see somebody pregnant, what comes to your mind is this person had um they had slept with someone. All right. So what comes to mind is these are the irresponsible teenagers who have
Mm.
refused to listen to, you would be
Yeah.
blamed. But you see, you don't have time to explain. You cannot. Rape it's a shameful thing to explain, and I think that's why women keep quiet with it. You can't explain. You can't tell anyone what has happened. So when I went to Bible school, the baby was still with my parents. So I picked the baby when he was 6 years. And
Okay.
all this time in Bible school and in church and in my employer, I didn't tell them I had a baby. I am small bodied, so nobody would tell that I have a baby. So I didn't tell anyone. I was in denial until later in life, when the baby was around 5 years. That's when I had the confidence now to accept that I have a
Okay.
child. But I lived a big lie. I lived a lie. I would, people that would suspect like this baby is mine, I would tell them, no, this is my brother.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. I see. Wow. Okay. So now you go through Bible school and then you finish. So what happens after that?
So in Bible school, I think that's where my now God began to reveal things, because I said I got a D plus. So I started with diploma. I did a diploma in Christian ministries, and then I finished diploma. Then I started bachelor's. I did bachelor's. So when I was doing bachelor's is when I met my husband Tsalwa. We were in both in Bible school. We used to do missions together. I would go for missions. I was this, because I knew that nothing good. I can't get married. That kind of a belief that you have when
Yeah.
yeah, you cannot find love again, like you are a good for nothing, those kind of things. So me, I just gave myself to Christ fully. I would go for every available mission work and everything. I was available, and many people knew, if you want to go to mission wherever, just call Rosie, she will be available for you. So I
Hmm.
think while still in Bible school, I met Salwa, and he knew, he had listened to my story when I was preaching somewhere, and he already knew that I had a baby, and we became very good friends. So we were friends for like a year, and then the following year he asked out for a relationship. So we got married, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Look at
Yes,
that. Interesting. You are seeking God and you are saying, what, I just want to wholeheartedly pursue my relationship with you, God. And then God can bring somebody alongside you, and the
yes.
two of you met in such an organic way because you're friends first, and then afterwards you pursued a relationship together. So how difficult was that, when he now starts to ask you to say, can we be in a relationship? How difficult was it to accept or receive that love from him, given what had happened to you in the past?
Well, it was very difficult, because of course, yeah, prior to him I had met other people who wanted to take advantage. When you are a single mother, every person thinks, many people, not every people, every person, many people think that you are loose and you are available and you are desperate and you can just accept anything that comes along. So I
Yeah.
had dated other people who wanted to have sex before marriage. Let's cohabit. Come, I marry you as a second wife. If anything, you have a child, it's difficult for you to get married. So, and I had dated someone prior to him who I thought loved me and knew there was a baby. And we had been in a relationship for 1.5 years. And then one time he told me, I love you, but the aspect of you having a child doesn't augur well with me.
Mm.
And then I realized, this is it. This is it. There's no one who is genuine, who will, because I had invested my emotions and everything in this person, and then they broke my heart. So it was even tougher for Sarwa when he was coming. But it was not tougher for him more, because we were friends. We were friends, and I knew him. I knew that he loved God genuinely. So I found security in him. So I told him, so when he asked me, I asked him, are you sure of what you are asking for? And then he said, yes, I know I'm asking to be a father of a 5-year-old, and I don't know what that means. So I think that the fact that he had my baby in consideration, I think now that
Yeah.
captured my attention, and I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no, but I equally did not say yes. So we let the we flew. We continued. I knew this is it, but it was difficult because I kept on wondering, will he do like the other guy? Will he just leave because now I have a baby? Will he love my baby for real? Will he be present? When we get other children, will he treat him different because he's not biologically his son? And I had all those
Hmm.
questions within me. But my security was in, I knew that he loved God genuinely. So I knew
Yes.
that if he lied to me that he loved me and my baby, and we got into marriage or we got into that relationship and other babies are born, and he decides to mistreat me and the baby because others have been born, I knew this one will deal with God. So my security was not more in him, but my security was more in God. And God has proved me faithful.
Yes. So when I left, you had just talked about how it's because you put your faith and your trust in God and said, I cannot place it on this man, as wonderful as he is, because I know that ultimately his relationship with God is what is going to dictate how he treats me and my son.
Definitely.
So, all right, so let's talk about coming to a place of peace after you've been sexually violated by this perpetrator who was intentional about ruining your life and actually verbalized that. How did you come to a place of peace with that? And, were you able to forgive him?
Um, yes, I was able to forgive him. You see, this sexual violation was not the first one that I went through. The first one happened when I was 5 year old, either 5, 6 or thereabout. It was the
Oh,
first time for me to be sexually violated, but it was not it was FGM. So that was I considered that was more painful. This one has results and consequences that I can see, but I think FGM was worse.
my
So
goodness, yes.
I looked at my, because after that sexual violation, the one that the the rape, I became sexually immoral. Let me say that, because there's FGM and then there's this rape. So I felt, well, let's waste this thing or something like that.
Yeah. But wait a
And
minute.
so
You underwent FGM when you were 5?
5, 6 or thereabout, I can't really remember, but I remember the experience. I have done it on my YouTube channel, the pain of the cat. I can't remember
Oh,
what age, but I remember the experience.
yeah.
So for me, that was more painful than this. Yes, this has more consequences and it's bigger, but that was more. So I decided, oh, all right. So this life, let's just um now I know probably it was depression and way of trying to deal with, because my esteem was not there. So I would meet a person, if they told me I was beautiful, I didn't believe I was beautiful. I didn't believe that I was good for anything. So I would just sleep around with anyone, married men to singles to anyone. I would just do that. So by the time I'm coming to meet Christ, I had done a lot of many things in trying to prove to myself that I am still a woman. I was not trying to, I
Mm.
was paying back to these people that are telling me that I am beautiful. So I'm paying back to them, but I am proving to myself, am I still a woman? Do I have feelings?
Mm.
Can I
Mhm.
perform, or those kind of things? So by the time I'm accepting Christ as my personal savior, I have all these bad things I have done. Now, Jesus has forgiven me of my sins, and I have accepted his forgiveness. I had no option but to forgive the perpetrators uh, that did anything wrong to me. I had first to forgive my mother because she's the one who took me for it, for the FGM, and then I forgave him. Of course, forgiveness does not mean I don't remember, because I have dark days. There are times when the memories are so fresh and I just want to be lazy. I just want to cry myself to sleep. And I feel bad, when you try to imagine that there's something that you lack in yourself, like you feel like you are not complete when you've gone through FGM. You feel like you are not complete. So you want to, I want to begin now to ask questions about it. So when God forgave me of the sins I have done, and when I understood the concept of sin and how much sin offends God, then I realized God was more offended by my sin than I am offended with my sinners. So forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. So God forgave me. I received that forgiveness, and so I passed it on to um to my mom, uh, and I passed it on to my perpetrator.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely something that's difficult to do,
Very.
because naturally in our flesh we want to hold on, we want to revenge, we want to, we really want to feel justified in our anger, and that
It
can
took
turn
me
to
7
bitterness.
years.
But I
It
love
took
what you
me
said, because
seven
when we
years to
realize
find.
how much God has forgiven us for, that's tough. That's tough. But then, and the thing about it is, when we forgive, I think I think as a church, we also haven't done a very good job in explaining forgiveness and letting people know that when you forgive somebody, it's not that you're saying what you did is okay. What you're saying is, I'm releasing you to God, because God has a way of vindicating and justifying, not justifying but vindicating us. And so when we release people to God and just say, Lord, I'm not going to seek to revenge, I'm not going to be bitter, I'm not going to allow this to control my life and hold on to this pain, and release that to God, then we can walk in so much freedom.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And
Oh.
of course, forgiveness does not mean you not feel bad when you meet them. So I have created a geographical distance between me and them, so that I don't see them. I don't know what is happening in their lives. Because yes, I have forgiven them, but my seeing them or getting to know their whereabouts affects me, because I'm thinking
Yeah.
you messed up with my life that much, and you're just moving on like nothing happened. So there are times when I sink, completely, and I'm feeling somebody did this to me, and they are okay and nothing. And um, you can't prove it.
Yeah.
If action was taken, then you could prove, but now it is my word against theirs. And of course, when a woman comes out to say I was sexually assaulted, um people have a way of looking, of justifying that, to make it
Mm-hmm.
become their, it is your fault that this
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Yes. What
So
did you do to provoke the person?
exactly. What did you do to
Yeah.
provoke the person? You kept them close. And of course, this is somebody I knew. This is somebody that was known to my family. So it was not a stranger. Probably if it was a stranger, it was going to be different. But forgiveness, yes, it looks, when I talk about it, it looks like, it's easy, something easy to do. But I'll tell you, it's not. You keep on there are those triggers that keep on taking you back. There are
Yes.
triggers that keep on um, coming up and reminding you of that past. You know, yes, the Bible would also tell you, forget the former things, but there are those triggers that you will always remember. So for me,
Yes.
what keeps me, I look strong, but I'm not. What keeps me is God, the grace of God. Because anytime I think about it and I know it's going to make me sing, I run back to the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. So now, how long have you been married?
6 years.
Very nice. Very nice. And what I love about
Yes,
your story is that there are many layers to it. And yet we see the hand of God over your life and guiding you and putting those pieces back together. And now you have a beautiful family. You have in your on YouTube, and you share different aspects of your life, and you do a lot of teaching as well, teaching on the
yes.
Bible on your YouTube channel. What prompted you to start doing that?
What prompted me? When COVID started, I started that YouTube channel during COVID. So I am very talkative. And you know, we were put on quarantine. There's nothing spiritual about my YouTube channel. There's nothing spiritual about my YouTube channel. Or there's nothing big plan. It has never been part of my plan. So I, of course, as I said, I'm very outgoing. And talkative. So COVID happened, quarantined, and I was like, who do I talk to? Where do I talk? How do I start? I need to talk. So I would talk to my husband, and words are over. Talk to my children, and they are tired of me. They want to play their games. So I
Yeah.
decided I need a space where I can talk.
Yes.
And so somebody asked me, I was sharing this story with somebody a girl who was expectant and the boyfriend had left them. And I shared with them my story, and she asked me, do you have a YouTube channel? And I asked them, what is a YouTube channel? I only know Facebook, Instagram, and what is that? So she explained, do I need, because I thought YouTube channel probably it's for them, the celebrities and all those other guys. She showed me you can actually start. So that's how I started. That's how I started. And I realized
Yeah.
actually this is something I can actually do. Is a space where you can talk to people, um, you can get to connect with people that you probably would never have met physically. Like we connected, and we've never met physically. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to say a word of encouragement to women out there who are either single mothers or for whatever reason feel discouraged because of what has happened to them. And so if you could just speak to them, encourage them, and reassure them that, just like you have a testimony, they too can one day have a testimony.
All right. So I am going to do that through a scripture that I have found that has helped me in this life. Because whether you are a single mother by sexual assault, a single mother by you had a boyfriend, whatever, however you are a single mother, I think being a single mom is just a single mom. We all go through the same stigma. We are in the same box.
Yeah.
As long as you are a single mother. But this scripture has helped me in life. Let me get it quickly. Yes. So I'm going to read Romans chapter 8. And I will start from verse 25 to 28. But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weaknesses. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through the wordless groans. And He who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. And we know that in all things, this is my favorite verse, and we know that in all things God works for good of those who love Him, who have been called
Amen.
according to His purpose. For those
Yes.
who foreknew, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of the Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. So I have, it doesn't matter how you became a single mother. All things, all things work together for good. For me, I
All
know for
things.
sure that being a single mother worked together for my good, for my own sin, that God was trying to deliver me first from myself. God has used being a single mother to deliver me from myself first, and then uh to make me more kind to people, because I can be very judgmental. If I had not made some mistakes, Bimbai, I will be very honest with you, I can be very condemning, I can condemn people. But God takes me back where He picked me from. So yes, you are a single mother. It is important to look at it from a positive point of view, that this is where I am at. What is God doing? What is God's view? Because God knew, God observed. It did not get Him by surprise. He knew that this thing is going to happen into your life, and He had all the powers to stop it, but He did not stop it. He allowed
Yeah.
it to happen. He allowed you to conceive. There are many people looking for children. They do not have, but you have the privilege of having a child. That means that God has trusted you that much. Now, you can only
Mm.
go back to Him and ask Him, Father, you've trusted me this much, to trusting me to raise a whole human being by myself. What is it that you want to teach me? Or what is it through me you want to teach people out there? You could be desiring probably to get married. Let me tell you, there's no qualification for marriage. God does not look at those that God does not store where He keeps those ones don't have children, these ones have children, these ones are virgins, and then He tells them, so the virgins get married first, the ones without children get married second, and the single mothers will come last. God does not operate like that. We are God's children, and so He qualifies us for life as He wills. So let nobody lie to you that because you are a single mother, you are less of a human being, or you are less of a woman than any other person. Or let no one lie to you because you've gone through the cut like I have gone through, like you are less of a woman. No, you are not. You are complete in Christ. So
Mm.
if you are complete in Christ, so the only person that can complete you is Christ. These other things comes as an addition to the plan of God in your life. That would be my encouragement to them.
Wow, that's so well said. I love that. That's powerful because I like the analogy that you gave of the store, to say God doesn't have a store where He says, virgins, okay, now, He doesn't do it that way. And He sees the end from the beginning. And
Yes.
that is so perfectly said. Thank you so much for speaking that kind of encouragement over our single mothers. We need more people like you sharing your stories, because when you open up and you choose to be vulnerable, it it helps the next woman and the next one and the next one, because just like at one point you did not feel comfortable talking about FGM because it wasn't something you wanted to be open about. But there's somebody out there who probably feels the same way and maybe feels ashamed and feels like, oh my, I cannot talk about this. But then when you talk about it, and you talked about how all the things that have happened in your life have made you to be the woman who you are, and that they're all working together for your good, then it helps that woman say, oh, so my feelings, my emotions, they're valid. My everything that I'm feeling about this is valid, and that does so much for our esteem. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, Rose, I feel like I could talk to you for a long time. But I want to be conscious of our time. We're almost at the 1 hour mark here, and I need to let you go. It's evening. I know you have a family to attend to. So I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. And I'm glad that we connected. Your story encourages me because sometimes I have those days as well where I look back and I'm like, Lord, but why? Why did you allow this to happen or that to happen? What is the purpose in that? And as life unfolds, we don't always get the answers that we want, but what is true and what we come to realize is that we have a choice to look at things from a positive perspective and look at how even those terrible and painful things have benefited us. And now that we're speaking to single moms in particular, children are a blessing. No matter how they're conceived, they're blessings. And we have been entrusted with this huge responsibility of raising these human beings, and it's a great honor. Like you said, it's an honor, and it's for God to bestow that trust on us. So single moms out there, God has got you. God has a plan for your life and the life of your child or your children. Just keep going to him for strength. Keep going to him. Anytime that you feel, whatever your emotion is, whether you're happy or sad, keep going to him and he will help you.
Definitely.
Rose, thank you so much for your time. I'm grateful. All the best with the little one. I hope she sleeps well tonight so that you can also get some rest.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
No, no, you're very welcome. Thank you so much. You have an enjoyable evening. God bless you and take care.
Okay, you too. God bless you.
Thank you.